Hey guys, and welcome back to another Movie Mates podcast. I am Matthew here with my wonderful co-host and best friend,
Callum.
Callum. Callum, it's good to see you, buddy. It's good to see you.
Good
Good to
to see
record
you.
another podcast episode with you. And as you've seen by the
It's
title,
been a while for a podcast.
It's been a while for the podcast. It's good to be back. And yes, as the people see by the title, Star Wars prequels.
Yes.
Callum, I've been waiting to talk for this for a long time, and due to upcoming new Star Wars film.
Episode 9.
Episode 9.
The Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker, we thought, let's get into the Star Wars films. Probably the biggest franchise in history, other than the MCU, maybe. I'd say it's probably more infamous, even.
Infamous?
It's probably more. It's probably better than
You realize infamous means like famously shit.
Oh, it's probably. no, well, what I meant is this is probably more well known.
Yeah.
By the MCU. But anyway, yeah. Do you want to let people know about what we're going to be talking about, what films and what sort of stuff we're going to be discussing?
Sure. So, to my knowledge, you haven't watched the original trilogy, right?
Just Return of the Jedi.
I have not watched any of them. So I thought I'd give a crack at starting with the prequels because, as it appears to me, if you don't know the twist in episode 5, then you should start with the original trilogy, then go to the prequels, because then like seeing that twist before.
Obviously, we give probably on average contrasting opinions on most films compared to the media and everyone else, and these films are no different really. Like these films are panned by universally panned by everyone, I would say.
Well, actually, like I was looking up, how they did critically, and I mean, I know I'm just gonna be a basic bitch and use Rotten Tomatoes, but like, which I had heard was shit, like had like high 60s.
Oh really?
And
Okay.
Revenge of the Sith had over 80%. So
Yeah,
I was interested by that,
but I mean, compared to the originals,
Yeah.
it's probably not as probably don't stack up as highly. But we'll get into our full thoughts. Commented, shared, all that good stuff, and we'll keep getting these podcasts out for you guys. We love doing so.
I'd like to ask you test your trivia knowledge, Matthew.
Okay.
Out of the 6 Star Wars films, episodes 1 to 6, how many do you think George Lucas directed?
Let's go with. I'm gonna go with 4.
You nailed it.
Did
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Original 3 and Phantom Menace.
No,
Oh,
weirdly,
which one?
it's episode 6. Sorry, episode 4, and then the prequels. He directed all of the prequels.
Really?
Yeah.
But who did 5 and 6?
Irving Kershner did 5, and it's Richard Marquand, I think. If I had to
I did not know that.
stab at that. Yeah, no, it's really weird. When
That's
I
really
heard that, I was surprised because I always knew that Irving Kershner had done episode 5, but I just assumed it was 6. And then realizing that like the most critically acclaimed ones weren't done by George Lucas, I thought, oh well, he must have then passed on the responsibility of the prequels to someone else. And then I was like, no,
No,
all,
it's just
all
that, yeah.
directed by him. So
You can definitely tell.
pretty much, of the 6 in the 2 trilogies, the prequels are obviously are considered like the bottom of the barrel,
Yeah.
and the 2 best ones are considered
Not George Lucas.
are not directed by George Lucas, which
Yeah.
is surprising given that he
Nice,
created the franchise.
Yeah. So 3 films here: Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith.
Yes.
Phantom Menace we'll start off on now. Full spoilers for everyone, given that the statute of limitations on these is quite large.
I mean, this was 20 years ago.
Well, yeah, 1999.
1999.
Wow. Okay. So
My dad insists that he saw this in the cinema, and then I was like, oh, so did you leave my mum with a 1-year-old to fuck off to the cinema? And then he seems to think that this movie came out like before any of my siblings were born, but I mean, it's objectively not true.
Yeah.
So like he just has, maybe he's just created like a false memory that he went to the cinema just because he's so desperate to have been such a good Star Wars fan that he saw Phantom Menace opening day.
From my knowledge, this film it did really well, box office wise, and also like apparently loads of people flocked to see it in opening day because obviously first Star Wars film in a number of years since Return of the Jedi, and
Yeah.
I think George Lucas apparently promised a Vader-inspired trilogy. I don't know if that was canon, but I assume it was. And yeah.
Well, I mean, people certainly knew that Anakin Skywalker was going to be an element. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you want to just go straight in with Phantom Menace then?
Sure.
Yeah. Cool.
Do you think that the prequel films were a mistake?
See, strangely, no. I think they serve their purpose in like cinematic lore. I think they're the definition of early 2000s films.
Okay.
I think no. I don't think they're. I think they're needed.
Okay.
What about you?
Well, I mean, just thinking about like, I assume a lot of people would have felt better if like a lot of their questions went unanswered.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't really need to know how Darth Vader became Darth Vader.
Yeah.
You just need to know that he's a villain and that's it. You don't really need to know where that angst came from.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I didn't really understand the purpose of like, say, this film, The Phantom Menace. I mean, are they trying to make us, sympathize with Space Hitler?
That's what I mean. I thought it was a very weird character to base a trilogy on.
Yeah, I mean, like, you don't get, like, a biopic about Hitler that is set, in his childhood, showing him as, like, a good student, and, like,
a noble apprentice.
Yeah, they tend not to show the good, admirable side of an objective villain.
I assume because this film is sort of a different point, but I assume because this film is late 90s, early 2000s, let's say, the trilogy, 2000s.
Yeah.
Because CGI was so fresh and new, they wanted to use that and overused it.
They very much overused it.
And my first point is just like, why is there so much CGI? Because from what I've seen of the originals, they had such great use of prosthetics and practical effects, and it seems like such a departure from the franchise, given that George Lucas directed the very first Star Wars film and the prequels.
Yeah.
It seems a curious choice for me.
I would say it doesn't stand out as much to me in The Phantom Menace. It's more Attack of the Clones for me.
Oh, yeah.
That really stood out to me, but yeah, even just the laziness in, instead of coming up with innovative prosthetic designs for the aliens, just slapping some CGI on the screen.
The CGI is decent in some instances for 1999, and in some instances like it gets progressively worse in Attack of the Clones, which is strange.
Yeah.
But
just wanted to throw it out here. I think the music in the entire trilogy, but especially in this film, it's pretty consistent with the rest of the franchise.
John Williams, is it again?
I imagine it's him again. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, that you can't really fault the Star Wars score, can you?
Yeah, so like
score, it's excellent.
I'd say that it's largely as good as the rest of the franchise.
Yeah, definitely.
When the opening crawl came up, Matthew, did you feel any nostalgia for that?
See, I'm not a big because we're both 2000s children. Like we have no nostalgia for the franchise really.
No.
And for me, it was probably revolutionary for the time to have like opening credits or monologues in this form of the the scrolling title, as you put it.
Fun fact: George Lucas was the first director, to my knowledge, to ever put credits at the start of the film. But like, this isn't even credits. This is just lazy exposition. Like
that's what I mean. I don't like it. I think it's lazy.
No, it's. I think it's worse than like exposition. The way people have like exposition dumps in films where there's just a huge stream of consciousness about like, we have to get this place to this place for this reason. Like, I think that's still better than just sticking text on a screen.
Yeah.
But, like, people are like, oh my god, what a fucking genius.
Yeah, I think people are very nostalgic for it, which I get, but I don't think it adds anything to the film particularly.
I mean, I just went like, oh no, when I was reading that, because I was like, is this entire film going to be about politics? Because like, all I had seen of these films was just the memes, like, I am the Senate.
I am the Senate. Yeah.
So like, I thought it was just going to be all about politics, and I was pleasantly surprised with the amount of action.
There is a lot of Jedi politics in it.
Yeah.
But it probably...
It wasn't as like
it goes as far
as
I think it goes as far as it can with it.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of senatorial scenes and stuff like that, and that's where my main problem with the movie is with with just the Senate and stuff and Palpatine.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's probably my least favorite part of the film. Like, the cast is good in general. Like, Liam Neeson's a well-esteemed actor.
Yeah.
As Qui-Gon, and I think he's okay. I think Ewan McGregor is really terrible.
Oh wow.
I think I don't know what it is.
I think we need to talk about his rat tail.
Yeah. He's got a rat tail. I actually put that Jedi rat tail. And he just sounds really posh. Like he's overextending his. Like I know he is like.
Well, he's trying to mimic Alec Guinness.
Yeah.
You know, because apparently they whittled Ewan McGregor down from 50 actors based on his likeness to Alec Guinness, and then he had to work with a vocal coach to make his accent more similar. I mean, obviously he's Scottish, so he's trying to mask that quite heavily, and Alec Guinness is like, you know, a thespian, so he does have like sort of an exaggerated posh English accent.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it fit the character he was trying to emulate.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the rat tail, jeez.
Oh man, like what are your opinions on Neeson as Qui-Gon? That's sort of like
Entirely unnotable.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you seem to have liked him, but
I thought it was okay. I thought it was decent. It wasn't bad for me, but it wasn't anything special.
I think they waste a lot of talent with a poor script.
Yeah.
I think obviously Liam Neeson could have done better with a.
I think
good
probably
script.
one of the biggest issues with that is that the actors are just on a set. You know, there's no, or just on a CGI like green screen and stuff. You know, there's a lack of practical sets, I think, and that's probably why they're limited in their acting range, because they're just talking to blank screens most of the time.
Yeah.
Because Jar Jar's, you know, that's no prosthetic using that character. I don't
No,
think.
but there was a physical actor on set who
Jar Jar?
just wore like a headpiece and
really?
ran about like a dickhead. Yeah. Obi-Wan's an adult. It's a bit embarrassing to hear him called
Master.
No, young Padawan.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's a bit embarrassing.
Yeah, I thought that and the term master is quite weird for Qui-Gon.
Just a bit
They're
sexy.
not that dissimilar in ages.
No, it's like about 6 years,
Yeah.
and it's though like they're about to start like a BDSM session.
What are your opinions? I just wanted to ask you, like, what are
Okay.
your opinions on the droids in this franchise? Like, because they are entirely useless for the most part. Like, they get killed very easily.
Yeah, but I actually thought that the idea of droid warfare is quite smart.
Yeah,
I think it's a lot smarter than clone warfare.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, drones are produced easier, you don't have to feed them, you don't have to train them.
Yeah.
But then they talk about clones as being the superior option.
Yeah.
I don't really get that.
I think droids are a good idea, but I think the execution, like, they look cool.
Yeah.
And the CGI is good, but it's just, I think the execution of, you know, how effective they are in the film probably needs improvement.
I mean, the fact that, like, there is a control ship that can be destroyed, and then they all just, like, they're all just dead, and it can be, like, tipped over.
We'll get into, like, C-3PO droid in Attack of the Clones.
Okay, sure.
Which, I quite like, but...
Okay. We have to talk about Jar Jar Binks, Matthew. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life.
No, I quite like Jar. I'm, like, the only one who thinks this, but I do think he's provides a moment of levity for the film, because...
Please develop that.
I
I cannot agree with you on this.
I said he's a product of his time, and what I mean by that is, in early 2000s, late 90s, as this trilogy was, I think Jar Jar probably fits the mold of that film lore well. Like, you couldn't get... Jar Jar would not work today, and it would not have worked back in the original films, but I think it just comes out at the right moment when everyone was so hyped for Star Wars, and it was marketed towards a younger audience, shall we say, even though these are darker films than the original three. I think just because George Lucas wanted to make loads of money with this, he was like, okay, we'll have a character who's marketed towards kids, try and get them involved, and I think for that reason it works. Maybe it doesn't add so much to the plot, but I do think the character, like, I think there are some terrible lines, don't get me wrong, you know, there's
Like,
really
can you name
bad
a good line? Like,
yeah,
I don't understand what you think he added to it. I mean, I'm pretty sure people at the time fucking hated it as well.
Oh yeah, probably, but I think I don't mind him, you know.
I absolutely hated it.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the design. Do you not think the design's cool?
No, I think it's one of the most hideous pieces of shit I've ever seen in my life, Matthew. Fun fact, did you know that Michael Jackson lobbied for this role?
Jar Jar?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
There's been a huge long history of Michael Jackson
Spider-Man as
trying to
well,
get
yeah.
into films. He tried to buy the rights to Spider-Man so that he could play Spider-Man.
Wait.
And then he wrote an entire score for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory so that he could play Willy Wonka. And then like the production company were like, okay, yeah, this music's great, obviously you can't play Willy Wonka, and he was like, well, fuck you then, you don't get the music either. And then this one, you know, he said to George Lucas, I want to play an alien, I want to be Jar Jar Binks. And then George Lucas said, no, that's a terrible idea. And then as a fuck you, like, he introduced him to Ahmed Best, like the guy that did play Jar Jar, and said, "This is our Jar Jar." And then like the guy who like didn't know anything about this, so he was like, "What the fuck am I meeting Michael Jackson?" I'm like, "Why is George Lucas being such a twat?"
Is Jar Jar's voice like an actual person's voice? Like it's not like altered to sound that way?
Well, I don't know. It may be altered, but to my knowledge, that's his voice, and it was him running about the set.
Wow.
To my knowledge, like Ahmed Best, not not Michael Jackson. That would date the film quite horribly.
Yeah, would.
Yeah, I mean Obi-Wan's a bit of a dickhead to like to Jar Jar Binks. He says, "What's this?" It's like, you're an alien as well.
Yeah,
go fuck yourself.
Obi-Wan is it's probably my least favorite character in the film. Like there's a line where he's just like, "Don't worry, the Force will guide us." Like all the Force has guided him in is trouble so far at this point of the film.
Although, like, I find the Force incredibly inconsistent.
Me too.
Sometimes they can just see something coming like miles away, and like Anakin has premonitions, but then they all get their arms chopped off.
And that's the thing. It's so inconsistent. Like they can sense something, and then like Count Dooku or Palpatine would like walk right past, and they just don't know.
Yeah,
it's inconsistent.
And also like, just how they never use their telekinesis.
Yeah,
like they could easily just like push people out of windows, or like the moments that like happen in every single Star Wars film where someone's like fallen down like a canyon just in the middle of a spaceship.
Yeah,
like they could just use their telekinesis to push them off like the ledge that they're hanging on to.
Yeah, I know, it's weird.
I don't get that at all. But with Jar Jar, just slapstick is the lowest form of comedy for me. Okay. And it's just embarrassing. Like he's just doing pratfalls.
There is one where like he sticks his tongue
out. Misa, a fucking dickhead.
You sat in big doo-doo this time. Is apparently a line.
That was yeah. Did you not notice that on the watch? Well, when did you last watch this?
See, I'd watched Attack of the Clones when I was a kid. Loads of times I loved Attack of the Clones. But this one, the first time I watched it was last weekend.
Yeah, I think I'd seen Revenge of the Sith before, but then I binge watched all of these yesterday. And you'll hear my thoughts on that experience soon. Oh yeah. But I don't know why Jar Jar was so sure that they would die in the core when they like ended up navigating it so easily. Yeah. Like they saw like one creature and then were able to instantly get away. Oh, that was strange. Like when they go to Naboo. Yeah. I think genuinely there are some good set pieces on Naboo, even though it is mostly CGI. But I think for Naboo there are some good set pieces, which is weird because like there should be more good set pieces, but I don't know. I guess it was just limited by timings or to create a set. I have a lot to say about when they get to Tatooine. Go ahead. Because nobody seems to really bat an eye at the beginning at child slavery. I know, like they're super casual about it. What's the blue alien? Watto, isn't it? I think so, yeah. Yeah, but like it reminded me of this film's Mr. Ditkovich a little bit. Just harsh against children. Yeah, I didn't realize that Mr. Ditkovich owned Peter Parker. Well, and then there's one line, and Anakin, and can we just talk about the Anakin Padme romance and how strange it is? I looked this up. There's an 8-year difference between Natalie Portman and Jake Lloyd. It's disgusting. Like I don't think we can talk about the full consequences of it until we get to Attack of the Clones. Okay, yeah. But it's disgusting. Because she's more of a maternal figure in this film. And how that shifts from maternal parenthood to romance is really strange. Like there's one line where Anakin goes in and he says, "Are you an angel?" And then I just put, what a flirt. How old is Jake Lloyd in this? I'm guessing 10. No, he was 9. 9. Yeah. Yeah, he's not great. I wrote the line, "Is Jake Lloyd somehow worse than Edward Furlong?" And I think so. Yeah. I can't believe it. Did you I don't listen back to these. Like, did you keep in my 4-minute rant about Edward Furlong last week? Yeah. I'll not get started again. But Jake Lloyd, I imagine Jake Lloyd wasn't paid as much as Edward Furlong, and he's nowhere near as famous. Like, no one knows Jake Lloyd's name. People know Edward Furlong. So I'd say for the comparison, Jake Lloyd is a worse actor, but he didn't. It's not like he got a ton of prestige. It's that Edward Furlong is a terrible actor and he got a ton of prestige. Yeah. So I do think Jake Lloyd is worse than Edward Furlong. There is one line where Anakin goes, "I wouldn't have lasted so long if I wasn't so good at building things." He's so humble. He's 9. Yeah. Like he's been in slavery for 6 years and he's talking about it as though he's been in it I was gonna say all his life. He technically has, but for decades. And people talk about Anakin like having built C-3PO as though it's like a fan theory, but then I was surprised to see that it's
confirmed.
It's confirmed in the film.
Yeah.
But like people bandy that about as though it's a fan theory, but it's just objectively true in the film.
I thought C-3PO has good practical effects.
Oh yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Cool. One thing I wanted to ask you is a brief point. Like, what are your opinions on the movie maker style transitions in Star Wars films?
See, is that the case in all Star Wars films? Because honestly, I haven't seen one in a while.
I think so.
But like, this was particularly bad. I was like, what are they doing? Like,
yeah.
Like they just like fucking star wiped into the next scene.
I think it works in some films, but maybe not this one because it's so like.
Oh, like maybe in a musical or something, but like not in a space opera.
No, definitely not.
Darth Maul shows
yeah.
up. He is so poorly dubbed.
I think he's the best Star Wars character. I think he's the most potential of any
He's in
Star
it
Wars
for
character.
like 12
His
minutes.
death is so bad as well. It's annoying.
We'll talk about that when we get to the end.
He's such a good character. Like, he looks amazing as well.
Yeah.
And,
the design's incredible.
And I think
the voice is amazing, but like you know that like the physical body actor is not the same as the voice actor, right?
Really?
Yeah, Ray Parks is the physical actor, and then Peter Serafinowicz did the voice.
The voice is cool.
Oh, it's amazing, yeah.
I thought the reappearance of Jabba was pretty cool as well.
I had no opinions because I've never seen a film with Jabba the Hutt before.
Fair enough, but yeah, I just want to say like good practical effects as well.
Yeah.
I don't want to keep like going as if I'm bashing the film for use of CGI. I'm not, because when they do use practical effects, like they're good. I just wish they used them more.
One CGI part that I would actually commend is like the mechanics of the pods.
I think the pod racing scene is like excellent.
Oh, it goes on like
too long.
It goes like 3 times longer than it should.
It brought me back to like memories of. Did you ever play Lego Star Wars? The pod.
I did, yeah.
The pod racing section of that on the PS2. Good times.
I think that the film would have been served better like if they'd had Anakin as like at least a teenager.
Yeah.
Like I think they started too young.
Definitely.
Like who thought it was a good idea to have like Padme be 8 years older than him? Like who thought that up?
How old is Natalie Portman in 1999?
She was 17 and Jake Lloyd was 9.
How old is Hayden Christensen in Attack of the Clones?
He
must have been in his 20s at least.
Well, like, see, you know, there isn't like an 8-year difference between them, I don't think, no. But like there's an 8-year difference.
I'm pretty sure Portman and Christensen are the same age, roughly.
Roughly, yeah. So like it looks less gross. Like if you don't have the context of this film, their romance in Attack of the Clones is not that bad, but like with this context, it's horrible. Like who thought that was a good idea? Like imagine how less gross this story would be if he was just like 14 or something.
Yeah.
Like if they just like bumped him up by like a few years. I just think they started too early.
Like, what year was Attack of the Clones? 2004?
I think 2002 if I had to pull a year out, and then 2005 for Revenge of the Sith, I think.
Okay.
But so like there's only 3 years between the Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, but it's a 10-year time jump.
Yeah.
So like Natalie Portman and Jake Lloyd, it's an 8-year difference, but I think she's meant to be like 14 or 15, and he's meant to be like 9.
She does look younger, but
yeah. So I think it's like it's meant to be like between the characters like a 5-year age difference, and then obviously after the 10 years, like it's more appropriate.
Yeah.
It makes my skin crawl. It's so uncomfortable.
I know what you mean.
Also, why did they elect a queen? Like, why did they not?
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, and why would you elect like a 15 to 17-year-old?
Yeah.
And she said she's not even the youngest queen.
That's weird.
So I mean, I just don't understand.
I'd like to know how the Senate works.
Well, I think she acts as sort of like the female president, but then what's the point of having like the queen and a chancellor, because they just seem to have the same job.
Yeah.
Like it seems kind of redundant to me.
I thought the reappearance of Yoda was good,
yes.
But again, CGI.
I wanted to ask you, like, what are your thoughts on
CGI
over puppet?
He's probably the best CGI character in these prequels, but I think
do you prefer the puppet?
Yeah, definitely. But the only good thing they could do with CGI is make him have action scenes like we saw in, I want to say Revenge of the Sith.
Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones. Him and Dooku.
Yeah.
And yeah, like that, because obviously you can't do that with a puppet, so that was
nice.
Oh,
and then he battles Darth Sidious at the end of Revenge of the Sith as well. But I want to talk now about Padme's decoy.
Let's go with it.
Right, so if they're trying so hard to disguise Padme, why would you hire someone to pretend to be her that looks so much like her?
It's Keira Knightley, right?
It's Keira Knightley,
They look so
who
similar.
famously is confused with Natalie Portman. So like, if you're going to the effort to like hide Padme and you have someone who has a different accent, why wouldn't you make them look wildly different? Like, why would you get someone that famously looks like Natalie Portman and then have them standing so close to each other?
Even the audiences could be fooled for that.
I mean, I could not tell you which scenes were Padme and which weren't.
Because it looks so similar.
I honestly couldn't, because I was like, why isn't Natalie Portman doing like a weird fake British accent?
Yeah.
And then I remembered that like Keira Knightley plays her decoy, but I was like, I have no idea which scene she's the decoy.
I literally
which
have
scene
like
she's not.
Padme's disguise question mark. Like how was? Yeah, it's just why would you do that? It seems like
I don't understand it at all.
Also, another inconsistency, like, just this is before another point, but these films love the Wilhelm scream, don't they?
Oh, they do.
What are your
Bloody
opinions
love
on it? Overused?
More in Attack of the Clones than this one. I noticed it more. But no, I don't mind. I find it funny. I often enjoy cliches. Like, do you not? Like, I think it's funny pointing them out.
Yeah, okay. Like, what are your opinions on, you know, when the droids start to attack the main city?
Yeah.
Like, the shield is able to keep out lasers and cannons, but the droids just like walk straight through it. So that was a little inconsistency, but yeah, like, I think the action in this film is good. Like, Darth Maul's lightsaber is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it's so cool.
I had one more comment about the Queen.
Okay.
Right, so they know for a fact that is it the Federation?
Federation. Republic, is it?
Like, there's the Federation and the Republic, so like the people that are led by Darth Sidious, they know for a fact that like they aren't gonna kill the Queen.
Yeah.
Because they need the Queen to sign the treaty.
Yeah.
But surely Padme should realize that by dressing up as a handmaiden, she's much more likely to be killed than if she's the Queen.
Because they think, oh, that's not the Queen. Bam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, because I mean, they need like if you're trying to stay alive as the Queen, dress up as the Queen, because they're not gonna kill you. I don't understand that at all.
Yeah. It's,
like, they're gonna be so quick to murder a handmaid.
I'm sure the dark side could just forge it. Yeah, they could just. You know,
Yeah. No. Like, why is Darth Sidious like all about like
law?
like law?
like
he's all about being PC. I mean, you eventually become the Emperor of the Empire. Do you really need like a signature on a treaty?
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure when you start, like, you know, when you build the Death Star and start killing millions, you know, that's probably illegal.
Yeah, it's probably it's probably quite a few war crimes. So like,
Yeah.
I think you can go. I think you can just march ahead on.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, he clearly already has an army, and he had the clone army ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand his motivation with like going through all the legal processes.
Me neither.
I think it's just to make a film exist.
Yeah, I think so, but I think so. One thing I wanted to mention to you, Qui-Gon's death.
Yes.
Well done to you.
Well, I think they were trying to capture the same emotional resonance as the death of Obi-Wan in A New Hope.
Mm-hmm.
And I have not seen that film, so I cannot assert an opinion on that just yet. But I think most people would probably view that as a failure in trying to capture the same emotion. Like, I mean, he was just such a bland character. Like, I was just waiting for it. I was like, yes, good.
I think Darth Maul's death's ridiculous. Like, it's pretty done, just chopped in half.
Do you think he died, Matthew?
Yeah.
Do you not remember what I told you about Solo, a Star Wars story? Robot legs!
Yeah!
And what I've written is,
Wait,
he just got, like, I'll just read verbatim what I have in my notes. He just got fucking robot legs. He was cut in half. Did he get new fucking robot intestines as well?
Yeah, he's...
No, like, because like, he doesn't get his legs cut off. He doesn't get his legs cut off. He gets cut in half, like, at the belly button. It's like his intestines are gone.
Yeah.
He is dead. And apparently robot legs fix him. Unacceptable.
Oh man, like, I think the most unacceptable thing in this film is when Yoda is just like, fear leads to the dark side, and then Yoda's
Matthew,
just...
like, I'm getting the feeling that like you just started this podcast like as an impression show. Like, so far you've thrown like 4 out. Like, I think you just want people to comment down below. Matthew should do impressions more.
No, I haven't done the full Yoda voice yet. I'm not going to.
Oh, you're not gonna give it a crack?
Okay. No.
What's the quote that you wrote down?
Fear in his training there is.
No, that's decent.
So like Yoda's like, okay, you know, the fear it leads to the dark side, and then he says, I fear his training. Yoda, mate, you go to the dark side, but being afraid should not lead to the dark side. Like being afraid is a good thing, I guess. Like it makes you more assertive. Like it shouldn't be a bad thing.
Yeah, like when you're scared, that tells you what you need to protect.
Yeah, exactly.
Which makes you do good things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, I think this is a pretty solid film, and I think if they'd made 2 changes, it would be pretty great. Yeah. If they completely removed Jar Jar Binks and made the pod race slightly shorter, I think this would be like and made Anakin an appropriate age. Yeah. It'd be, you know, like pretty much up there with the better films.
Okay, yeah. I have to agree with most of what you said there.
I
quite like Jar Jar.
Would you rather Jar Jar wasn't in it though? Like, is it that you tolerate him?
I tolerate him. Like, I don't think he's bad. I'd rather he wasn't in it.
Okay.
But yeah, as for ratings, what would you give it, buddy?
I'd give it a solid 6 out of 10.
I give it a solid 6 out of 10. Yeah. It's not my favorite prequel.
No.
But it's okay. It's serviceable. You know. Next film we're going to talk about is Attack of the Clones.
Yes.
So, yeah, do you have any opening thoughts on that, bud?
What is it with Jedis and rat tails?
It's like, so annoying.
Hayden Christensen just has a rat tail.
No one suits it, really.
No.
It's not even a rat tail.
If you don't know what a rat tail is, look it up. Like you should know what I'm talking about.
Oh man,
it's hideous. Like he has like a man bun at the back and then a rat tail around the shoulder. Like it's the worst of both worlds. His hair is better in Revenge of the Sith. Oh yes, I've talked about that in my notes.
One of the funniest things in this film is when I don't know what his name is, but he's just like, "There's no danger at all," and then the ship just explodes and kills the Queen.
No, I wasn't paying attention to that scene. I don't know who you're talking about. Are you talking about like Jimmy Smits?
I think so.
The guy who ends up like adopting Leia. Yes.
I don't know. I'll quickly
give it a Google.
Give it a Google. You're on the pad for a bit.
Right. Well, I'm just going to continue talking.
Okay.
So Padme, as soon as she sees Anakin, says, "You'll always be that little boy I met on Tatooine." Ooh. Instantly friend zoned. Or she's a paedophile. Well, either way, I have serious problems with it. And then he continues to be an absolute fucking creep, and he says, "I don't think that she liked me watching her. I don't think anyone does, mate." Like he genuinely terrifies me.
Who? Anakin?
Anakin.
Creepy smiles.
He's an absolute fucking creep.
Like
did he give you serious Andrew Garfield vibes?
From Mrs. Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he would definitely have a photo of
Padme just zoomed in on his laptop. But also, I genuinely think he just looks like Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, it does a little bit.
Like I really see that.
I can. There's not one. I've watched a lot of films. You've watched even more. There's no character in any film I hate more than Anakin in this one.
Okay.
It's just so bad. I'm
sorry.
Like,
Padme throughout the film rebuffs him, and I'm like, good on you, girl. And then at the end, she's like, oh yeah, I've been secretly in love with you. Like, I actually secretly loved you watching me from those cameras. Like, I'm like, what?
Yeah, I know. Like, it's just... there's so many bad lines that I've got. Like, I'll just do a Hayden Christensen impression later, but I mean, honestly. One thing I wanted to say, like, how can the Jedi not sense the dark side from Palpatine and Dooku?
Can you sense the dark side?
See, I assume because of the Force you should be able to, but then it's never, explicitly said.
Well, I suppose like Jedis can tell other Jedi, so why can't Jedis tell Sith Lords? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of get that. Dexter Jetster, terrifying.
What a name?
Do you know the guy I'm talking about? The 4-armed diner owner?
Oh yeah.
Fucking terrifying.
Great CGI.
No. Not great CGI, Matthew. Terrible CGI.
I think Ewan McGregor rocks a goatee.
Oh yeah.
Oh really?
Oh yeah. Big
and fan. He's so good in this film. I don't know what happened between Phantom Menace and this, but he's just
Liam Neeson was holding him back.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, he is barely in this film though.
McGregor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, he makes good use of the screen time he has.
There's one line by Anakin, "Being around her again is intoxicating."
He is such a fucking creep.
Do you want me to just say all his lines?
Yeah, just rhyme them off.
Okay. "I hate it when he does that. He's overly critical, he never listens. It's not fair!" The best one. "I just like sand."
Yep, knew it was coming.
Of course, it's rough.
Gets everywhere.
That thing. That would be the best I've had of all time.
Right, so I've only ever heard that line, like, in memes. Contextually, it's not that bad. Like, obviously it's not a good line, but it's really not as bad. Like, people have just taken that quote out of context.
Out of context, it sounds like the best out of
like
context.
They're genuinely they're talking about sand.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like he's just like, it's not like over dinner he just brings that up. Like, they're talking about sand.
Yeah, no, but do you know the way a lot of movie quotes are taken out of context when they're actually fine? Like, you know the Harry or the Norman Osborn one when he's just like, Harry tells me you're into your science, you know.
I'm something of a scientist myself.
Yeah. That's a normal line. That's fine.
Yeah.
But that is so hilarious out of context.
Yeah.
Like you've seen you showed me the memes of that and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's just like, you know, when you get an A in a chemistry paper, I'm something of a scientist myself, like there.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So I want to talk to you about Boba Fett's origin, because now we find out that he's actually just a clone of his
Dad,
quote unquote father, Jango Fett. Like, to you, does it make the character more boring and less significant because he's a clone?
A little bit,
For me, it definitely does.
I think Jango Fett's way cooler.
Oh, Jango Fett is way cooler. Like, Boba Fett's suit is cooler, but Boba Fett is such a shit bounty hunter.
Yeah.
I mean, he can't even catch Han Solo, who... I mean, like, do you think there's anything... Like, okay, I'm gonna piss off some fanboys. Like, do you think there's anything special about Han Solo?
Not really.
No, like, why is he able to evade a bounty hunter?
Like, but Jango Fett is
so, like,
lethal.
Yeah, Jango Fett, like, does the job. Like, he is actually great. I don't really know why when Obi-Wan finds out about the conspiracy, he just screams the message, like, outside where he's just, like, found out about it. Yeah. He's like, guys, on the Jedi Council, we're fucked. You know, like, like he's screaming it, like, right outside where he's learned that.
Oh, man, like, do you think Anakin's weird dreams are weird?
What a brilliant sentence. Yes, Matthew, I do. Because, I mean, it's, like, they're always just of, like, I mean, it's a bit creepy, like, they're always just of women, like, in distress, and it's like, ooh.
Like, I think, you know the scene in the asteroid belt with Obi-Wan? Like, when he's in the ship, and it's him and R4 and the asteroid belt and stuff, and they're...
Oh, actually, I really thought that was a fun,
fun
ship chase sequence.
I think the whole Obi-Wan arc, when he goes to the clone planet and stuff, it's all water, pretty much. Like, I thought that was really good. Like, I thought the design, for the aliens with the super long necks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that design's really
like,
cool.
That was where I specifically picked up on the fact that that was definitely an overuse of CGI.
Oh, yeah.
Like, imagine if that had been, like, a prosthetic, like, that would have been great.
Yeah.
There was a quote from Padme that was like, I mean, I've written it wrong. Like, it's to be something is to be human. Like, it doesn't matter what she said. The fact is, you're not a human.
Yeah.
Like, and whenever you look up on, like, Wikipedia, it always says, like, you know, Obi-Wan species human. I'm like...
He's Jedi?
Yeah, but, like, that's not an alien species.
Oh, yeah, true.
But, like, apparently all these people are humans.
Are there humans in Star Wars? Like, are they ever shown?
Like, according to Star Wars lore, like, Obi-Wan is a human, Padme is a human.
Really?
Yeah, but I mean, obviously they're not. If you're not from Earth, you're not a human. You're a humanoid alien. But I don't like that at all.
What year is Star Wars set in? Is it ever confirmed?
It is never confirmed. It's just a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
A long time ago.
Yes, as in, so it's set in the past, and you know, galaxies away. So, like, obviously they're not humans.
Yeah.
Like, I want to talk a little bit about Lars.
Let's go with it.
The moisture farmer. Like,
what about him?
I'm sorry. Like after is it Shmi dies, Anakin's mother.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, he gives her a touching eulogy at her funeral, and I'm just thinking.
I know what's coming.
He turned his slave into his wife. A love story for the ages.
Yeah.
Is that what you expected to be coming?
Sort of.
Like. Yeah. Well, did you have anything to say on that?
I mean, I thought, like, when...
It's like, go fuck yourself, you bought your wife?
This movie is dark. Like...
Okay.
Like, darker than...
They're all U's, I think, like...
Yeah, no.
Which is surprising.
Like, when Anakin kills the Tusken Raiders... I know it's not shown, but, like...
Well, like, he's shown, like, beheading one of them, I think.
Yeah. But, like, I think...
What did you think of that move? Did you think that was... Was that him turning to the dark side for you?
No,
or do you
I think that's good character development. Like, I think that's him getting darker.
Do you think that was... fair justice though.
Probably not. I think it's probably a bit extreme.
But I mean, there was no real purpose for them to kill her. Like, they sort of killed her in cold blood.
Yeah, they did.
Because I mean, I thought maybe they were cannibals or something, and they were planning on eating her. But I don't think that was the case. I think they were just robbing her.
Yeah.
But if you're just robbing her, why are you like fatally wounding her and then keeping her in your camp?
Yeah.
It seems a bit fucked. Like,
Do you think?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, it's just like, do you appreciate there's less Jar Jar in this film? Like, Lucas is taking the criticism on that.
Well, like, from my knowledge, I thought that Jar Jar was just in the first film, and then he fucked away off because like, well, no, because I thought because his life debt was to Qui-Gon Jinn. When Qui-Gon Jinn died, Jar Jar was free, so he just left. So I thought we'd never be seeing him again, and then when he showed up, I was like, for fuck's sake. And then he ended up bequeathing like special powers to Palpatine. I was like, classic Jar Jar.
Classic Jar Jar.
Jar
Jar is the reason that the Death Star is built. He is.
I mean, that's a bit extreme.
Yeah, but like he in a sense like grants Palpatine more senatorial power, basically.
Yeah,
As
I mean,
as
I
Padme's
get.
replacement.
I mean, not to go like too deep into it, but I mean, it is clearly a allegory for Hitler's rise to power. In the he was provided I mean, this is weird now, but like he was provided special powers by the Chancellor, and he eventually became Führer. So
like
I mean,
Prime Minister of Germany, or like.
Well, it's like it's like the powers of the Chancellor and the Prime Minister put together. So he became more powerful than the Chancellor, who was able to grant him the powers. And then obviously, that did not.
Didn't go well.
That went very, very, very badly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, I mean, for like these are considered kids' films. It is quite thematically dark with
It is, yeah.
with that kind of undercurrent. Because I mean, obviously, the Empire ends up committing atrocities as well.
But these films love like a decapitation or a limb.
Oh yeah, the bloody love it,
chop.
Yeah, big time.
Especially Django's death. I'm sad Django died.
Are you?
Yeah, but it could have been used again.
I don't know why when they had Padme, Anakin, and Obi-Wan hostage, they didn't just shoot them. Like they just
put in an arena.
Yeah, like they just gave them ample opportunity to escape. Like I was not okay with that.
I think the arena scene's awesome though.
Oh, like it led to that amazing Jedi battle. Like that is worth watching the film.
Definitely.
Because like this film is way too long. It's 2.5 hours long, and like it could easily cut out like 40 minutes.
Mhm.
I mean, every scene with Jar Jar in it, at least. But aside from that, like it's a really enjoyable film. Like it drags slightly for me, but other than that, I did really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Again, we were talking about the overuse of CGI and how I felt it was more apparent in this film, especially like on the clone troopers.
Oh yeah.
I get how like when you're showing sort of like a swarm of like thousands of them, you need obviously CGI. But like if you're just showing like 3 of them beside Yoda, why are you doing that in
just
CGI?
create costume.
Yeah, no, I just thought that looked poor.
Definitely.
Yeah. I thought Dooku on a speeder looked like a middle-aged dad in crisis buying a motorbike. Because like usually they have like a really long front piece, but his was just like like a little like snowmobile.
Yeah. Dooku is hilarious, but
Yeah.
unintentionally so.
Well, I mean, like they keep hiring like really famous like dramatic actors to play like the worst, most disposable,
Mace
ridiculous
Windu.
characters. Yeah, and then like Dooku just like
Who plays Dooku again?
Christopher Lee. He's
Is
like
he dead or is he alive?
he's dead.
Is he?
But it's just like 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 this issue will be resolved with our knowledge of the lightsaber. like why are you doing this?
Yeah.
And it's just the slowest, most
tremendous.
boring scene I've ever seen.
Yeah. Do you think it's better than the first?
I do think this one is better than
I agree.
Phantom Menace.
Yeah, I agree.
Like
I actually quite like this.
yeah, I don't understand. Like the Jedi are meant to be quite utilitarian. It's like the greatest good for the greatest number. So Yoda would not have because he uses his telekinesis to move the thing from stopping killing Anakin and Obi-Wan. But like, if that meant that Dooku got away, like he would not do that. Logically, a Jedi wouldn't do that. Like they would think of they'd be like, oh, like it doesn't matter if 2 Jedi die, provided we can stop 1 Sith Lord.
Yeah, it did feel like the film needed that to happen for the Revenge of the Sith.
Also, the last scene, married.
Out of nowhere, right?
You've known each other a total of 4 days.
Yeah.
Like 3 of which he was a 9-year-old.
Yeah.
And then she reveals to him, oh yeah, I'm deeply and truly in love with you. When did you get a chance to develop those feelings? When he was 9?
Maybe in the day, I don't know. Unlikely, but yeah, I don't know where.
Unless as soon as she saw him as a grown man, she decided she fell in love with him at that moment. That's fine, but that's not what happened. She definitely had the hots for a 9-year-old.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have to judge her for that.
Are we gonna say like Padme's a pedo, or have we gone that far?
They were always both children at the same time.
Barely, but
barely, but I'm not gonna make a call in on that, Matthew.
Yeah, no, me either.
You can make a sweeping statement if you want. No, not gonna go for it.
No, I think it's just, I don't know if that's fine because it's weird.
Yeah,
but
it's definitely not fine.
Definitely not. Yeah, moving on.
Nice.
I quite like it.
I agree. It's definitely solid. Like our friend Jack had warned me.
Shout out to Jack.
Yeah, he said like this was a piece of shit, and I was pleasantly surprised.
Meet likewise.
As I was with all of these films.
Well, the final one we're going to talk about is Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Third and final one.
I always open with hair.
Yeah.
The hair is marginally less embarrassing.
I think it's quite good. Yeah. I think this Anakin's hair, not too bad. Anakin in this, I'd say Hayden Christensen in this film probably gives his best performance out of the 2 films he's in.
Like,
not a good.
It's not a competition, is it?
Yeah.
He's
okay in this.
Yeah.
He's better. He plays a darker character well, I think.
So in the opening scene, Obi-Wan's droid gets destroyed.
Yeah.
And like usually people have like a lot of like sentimental attachment to their droid. You just can give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like he immediately moves on.
R2-D2 was killed by someone in Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker would be devastated.
Yeah, like I mean, Obi-Wan's just like, well.
I'll get a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we talk about droids, General Grievous is cool.
Is he?
Do you not like
I think
him?
he's shit.
Really?
Yeah.
It looks cool.
Yeah. I tried to find an explanation as to why a droid is able to cough.
Apparently he's like an alien or something.
And then I looked it up and they were like, he has asthma. I'm like, that still doesn't explain how a robot's able to cough. Sorry, a droid is able to cough.
They just program a droid with asthma. No, he is an alien, isn't he? He's just got cybernetic parts.
Yeah, I think he's an alien with cybernetic enhancements, but the internet did not sufficiently explain that, in my humble opinion. I really don't understand why Anakin isn't a Jedi Master, because they're like, oh well, we can't let someone who could be turned to the dark side onto the Jedi Council, but then how can you not realize that by rejecting him from the Jedi Council you're going to turn him to the dark side?
Yeah,
like it just seems like a series of idiots on the Jedi Council. Like they just refuse to listen to logic.
Yeah, like the Jedi Council were the ones who were just like, oh, let's not have him train with us just in case, we don't want him going to the dark side, and then they do the thing that'll probably send him to the dark side.
Yeah. I honestly think the opening aerial fight is great.
I think so too. Better CGI.
Yeah.
Very much so. And yeah, like I think, when Anakin decapitates Dooku.
Do it.
Do it. Yeah. That's brutal, but also like funny.
I love Matthew laughing at death.
No, like when Palpatine is just like.
Because Matthew's such a sweet, innocent boy, and then when there's just something really horrible that happens in a film that he finds hilarious, I just love it.
No,
like in Toy Story 4 when like the crayons get stolen from Bonnie.
You were laughing too.
Oh, I pissed myself. That was amazing.
That was great. We should rewatch that sometime. Yeah, but like when Palpatine's just like, do it, and then Anakin just like that's dark. I like his slow transition to Vader. Like that is good character development.
Do you find it believable, or do you think it's way too drastic, like moving from one film to the next, where he's...
I think it's a bit drastic.
Well, I mean, he goes from, like, good to okay to bad,
yeah.
And I think you probably need 6 films for that transition. 3 films I don't think's enough for that character arc.
Yeah, like, he does just... He kills a lot of innocent people, doesn't he?
Kids, younglings.
Younglings. I killed them all. Yeah. Like, yeah.
He's really proud of it.
I know. And Padme's just like, yeah, it's fine. It's okay, sweetie.
We can move on.
Yeah. Yeah, oh man.
Do you agree with me? Like, I quite like the action sequences. I mean, lightsaber battles are fucking boring though.
You don't like lightsaber battles?
Oh, I hate. I really.
What
I don't like it.
Them just not fun.
Well, I mean, there's nothing new. Like, there's no new ground to break on lightsaber battles, is there?
Yeah.
You know, like if you look at like Rogue One, there's like, I mean, you haven't seen it, but like there's the third act battle is amazing, because you know it's encompassing like droids and AT-ATs.
Apparently there's a great Vader scene in that.
Oh, there's an incredible Vader scene there. But there's just nothing to be done really to evolve the lightsaber battle.
True.
And it's incredibly awkward when they don't use music in them. Like,
yes.
Yeah, if it's just the noise of the lightsaber slapping together for like 3 or 4 minutes, like it's incredibly uncomfortable.
I can see that. Yeah. Good point.
I'm like, go ahead.
Oh no, I want to say go ahead.
Okay, so we cut to Padme and Anakin.
Yep.
Okay, I get that you could maybe hide that you're dating, but how are you hiding a fucking marriage?
Yeah.
Like, how are you doing that? And then even at the end, Obi-Wan's just like, is Anakin the father? It's like, yeah, he is. Yeah.
How'd you know it?
Did you not connect those dots? Are you never wondering like where he is at night? Like when he, goes to bed with his wife?
Yeah.
Are you never wondering like, oh, I wonder where Anakin's at,
Yeah. Like, I think Anakin's visions of Padme dying in childbirth are super strange, super weird. Like, how is he having this? I know he's a Jedi, but like, come on, Anakin.
Yeah, I
I'd
mean,
dream about something else.
Okay, I'm sure he would if he could choose.
Yeah, probably.
But obviously, we can't judge the original trilogy for the plot holes that these films create.
Yeah.
But I would have liked to see the premonition power used elsewhere, because obviously that doesn't come into play in the original trilogy. But obviously we can't fault the original trilogy for problems the prequel makes.
Yeah.
So because of like Hayden Christensen's acting, I genuinely couldn't tell whether he was excited about the pregnancy or not. He was just like, that's wonderful. It's like, I genuinely can't tell.
Yeah, like, is he secretly depressed, or is he just like, yeah, this is good?
Like, I think he's happy about it.
I think so. But then, because he sees visions of Padme dying in childbirth, maybe he's just like...
No, but I mean just, like, in the initial moment where he finds out. Like, I genuinely just can't tell.
Yeah. Probably... Has he been in anything big since?
He was in Jumper in, like, 2007, which is pretty solid.
Yeah. Is he a good actor? Is he actually a good actor?
No.
No?
No, he's not. Like, he's fine. He's serviceable. Like, he could play, like, the John Connor role in Terminator Rise of the Machines.
Man.
So the prophecy of the Chosen One is that the Chosen One brings balance to the Force. So how could they not expect that to mean the Skywalker, like, would be on the light than the dark side? They're like, oh no, like, he'll... Like, what did they think the prophecy meant?
The balance of the Force,
they're like, oh shit, we might have misread it. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, what did you think it meant? Bring balance to the Force, both light and dark.
Yeah.
Like what did they think it meant?
Like the Jedi, I just thought,
fuckwits.
Like, I just have so many things. Like, I know they.
Do you remember back in the day when we used to like try and bleep the swearing? Now I've just committed to it.
The Jedi. I know that the Jedi's have an idea that Palpatine is, corrupting the Senate, but took you a while. Like, he's.
I am the Senate.
I am Senate. Like. Just Mace Windu dying is hilarious. It's great. He just pushed out a window.
I don't know how Anakin can't tell that he's being manipulated though. But I mean, I did respect that he at least, told Mace Windu that Darth Sidious was Palpatine.
Yeah.
But I mean, what was his mission for helping? Just that he looked like an old man. He was like, oh, well, I'll help him, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know, like, do you think this film makes the transition to Vader too quickly? Do you think it could?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Because, I mean, this is simultaneously, like, too long a film, but, like, doesn't have enough development. Like, they should have cut out some of the characters. I mean, pretty much, like, this film, like, this entire trilogy doesn't really need Palpatine. Because, like, you could just have a figurehead. Like, I feel like they were just trying so hard to, like, give character development and context to all of the major characters of the Star Wars franchise.
Yeah.
And they went with too many of them. because like it didn't really need to be Obi-Wan that like trained him up. So like, I think they spent too much time trying to give context to all the characters, and they should have spent more time on the transition from Anakin to Vader.
Yeah, like I assume Anakin's what, like mid-20s in this one.
Yeah, he's about like 23, 24.
Yeah, so I assume this film's like 30 years before Return of the Jedi, maybe.
I think it's less than that. I think Luke Skywalker, Return of the Jedi. Yeah, maybe. Like I think A New Hope is maybe set like 21 or 22 years after this. Time has not treated Ewan McGregor well, because he goes from looking about like 30 to like 60.
Yeah.
In probably about 20 years.
Yeah.
Actually, no, like Alec Guinness looks old in A New Hope. Like he looks, on death's door.
Vader is probably like, I don't know how old Vader would be in Return of the Jedi. Probably like 40 something, 50s.
Yeah, maybe 50, but like he looks way older.
Yeah, he does.
Like he looks like an egg. I mean, we'll talk about that, when we actually review those films.
Looks like an egg.
Okay, I never know what's gonna set you off. Honestly, like, so Anakin says that like right before Mace Windu is about to kill about to kill Palpatine, he's like, no, it isn't the Jedi way. Like, you killed Dooku like 12 hours ago.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it isn't the Jedi way, bro. It's like it seems like it is.
Do you, like when
I mean, and the like, what are they talking about? That isn't the Jedi way. It's like you killed an unarmed prisoner. Obi-Wan Kenobi killed Darth Maul.
You decapitated Dooku.
Yeah, I mean, I don't actually know who kills. I forget who kills Darth Vader. Is it the Emperor or is it Luke? I don't remember. Well, I'll find out next week, I guess.
Emperor, yeah.
Is it? Yeah. Okay. Right. So, the reason for his transition from good to evil is that he wants to stop Padme's death, but then in the original trilogy, he's constantly trying to kill his kids.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. He's like, I must save my wife, but like my kids can get fucked. Like.
Oh man, this film makes a lot of confusing choices. Like,
yeah.
I just love when Anakin. Oh, sorry, no, I'll rephrase. I saw a different point, and I shouldn't say I love this, because when Anakin chokes Padme, like, I don't love that. Obviously, I was about to say I love when Obi-Wan is about to kill Anakin.
Okay.
I don't love when Anakin chokes Padme. Like, that is brutal.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
Even after that, though, she still says there's good in him.
Yeah.
I
think there is good in him.
I don't know why she's saying that. Really, Matthew? We're doing this again.
We're doing this again. Like in Return of the Jedi, when he I'm not.
Oh no! Like I've seen
when he saves Luke.
Oh, it hardly saves Luke.
I know.
And like he's been trying to kill him for like 4 years.
My son. That's not.
It's like because we find out, obviously. I mean, like, we'll talk about this like in further detail, but then, I mean, obviously, if you're listening to this, you're a Star Wars fan. So, after Vader dies in Episode 6, he goes to like Force Heaven, just because like he did one act of goodness after killing like billions of people by destroying like hundreds of planets, and like he just gets to go to Force Heaven.
Yeah.
And like hang out with his mates.
Yeah.
Like it seems like such a nonsensical thing.
Do you want to talk about Anakin versus Obi-Wan?
I just had a couple points to make before we get to that, but like this movie is pretty much from Anakin's perspective, so I don't know why it isn't more tonally dark. I mean, like the music remains really uplifting.
Yeah, the score is just the same, isn't it?
Like it's just like a really calming, uplifting score while he's murdering children.
Yeah, like, I think that this film was really brutal for PG-13.
I think it's even like a U.
A U?
Like
do you have it? No?
I don't have it here, but I know the original trilogy is like the lowest film grading you can get, and those are quite dark.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't really understand, because usually restrictions back then were, more restrictive.
Yeah.
And like it, like things that are probably like a 12 now would have been a 15 or an 18 back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why anyone in the Senate isn't questioning like what the fuck happened to Palpatine's face, because like he just goes like, because
must have done something new.
He like, because like, his face is messed up, and then he goes like, oh yeah, I was left scarred by the battle with the Jedi. Like, those aren't scars on your face, mate. Like,
wrinkles.
Yeah.
It looks like it's been aged up.
Like his explanation would not fly with me.
No.
You know, like, he's incredibly unconvincing. Like, for someone who's trying to, you know...
Is that what electrocution does to him? I guess that's true, right? I Miss Windu.
No, he's he's shooting electricity from his fingers, but it's fucking up his body. Oh, like, there's no explanation for that.
That is weird.
Because then he uses electricity in future movies and nothing happens to him.
The Palpatine's parts aren't really explained, are they?
No, not at all. I mean, this entire trilogy I thought would give me like so many answers about like how the Force works, how the powers work. They don't. Like, I thought this was going to provide me with like so much context.
Yeah.
But I still don't know like, you know, which people have what powers. Like, I still don't understand.
There's a lot of characters wasted. Like, I think General Grievous is wasted. I think he could have been really good. But no, like in terms of Anakin versus Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Quite good, I think.
I find like it meanders a bit, you know, when they're actually fighting. But obviously the final standoff is one of my favorite bits in film history, honestly. Like, and I'm saying that seriously. Like, I genuinely think that's quite a powerful moment, especially with Ewan McGregor's performance. Like, that's incredible.
Yeah, it is good. Like, his body is messed up.
Oh, absolutely. And then, but I mean, you know, he realizes in that moment that he has to kill Anakin, and he's like, oh yeah, I'll just leave him to burn to death. That'll do it. Yeah. Like, you know, he doesn't finish the job. He's like, oh yeah, I really don't want to kill Anakin, but I'll try and kill him in the most brutal possible way.
And then just leave him?
And then just leave him and hope for the best.
Yeah, yeah. I think probably one of the most infamous moments in film history is when Vader just screams, No! Is that James Earl Jones as well?
I think so, yeah.
Oh man, that's weird.
Like, they got him back for that, jeez.
No.
But, right, so the Emperor, the only reason that Anakin turned to the dark side was to stop Padme dying. So when he finds out that Padme died, why does he stay with the Emperor? Like, why doesn't he abandon the dark side and, like... I was going to say something grim, but like...
Maybe, go ahead.
I was going to say commit ritualistic suicide or something.
Maybe he just realises he's went too far with it and just thought, I might as well just stay on the dark side.
But that makes no sense to me, because he knows that his kids are out there, so he could still try and... you would think he would still try and redeem himself for the family he has left. Like, I just don't understand that, really. Because, I mean, you know, throughout this franchise, Obi-Wan's been a father to him. So you would think, now that he knows that his wife is dead, why wouldn't he go to the people that he, you know, actually thinks of as family to get support from? Yeah. I'm talking about this as, like, you know, Star Wars counseling. Like, you know, it's like, you know, it's a space opera. Like,
it's a plot hole, definitely.
Yeah. Also, like, I really don't understand the decision to split the kids up, because Vader only thinks that he has one child, so having two together would actually make them more inconspicuous. Like, if you have like one on, I mean, you know, they're like, oh yeah, let's split them up. Yeah, we'll just, you know, give one of them to like Anakin's stepbrother, who he knows is his stepbrother. So I mean, like, if he just, you know, if he tries to go looking for his kids, like, his first stop's going to be his actual family.
Also, like, splitting kids up is quite cruel as well.
Yeah, twins especially. Yeah. Because, I mean, you know, I mean, it leads to some funny business.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely does. And that's what makes it even weirder, like, just keep them together.
Yeah, I just didn't understand that at all, because, you know, if he goes looking for the baby he thinks he has, like, if he sees twins, he's going to think, oh, well, they're not mine then.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, I thought that was just a bit nonsensical. So, how would you rate this film, Matthew?
I'd rate it a 6.5.
Okay.
I would. What about you, buddy?
I think I think I actually enjoyed Attack of the Clones better, but I have to recognise that this is a better made film, so I'll give it a solid 7. 7? Yeah. Yeah.
In terms of overall thoughts on the franchise, just like as the prequels as a whole and how they compare to the... Well, we haven't seen the originals, but like, I just think the franchise overall, is great, and it's a staple of its time. Like, it's forever going to be the best or the most notorious film franchise of all time. But I think the prequels do get too much hate, you know.
I think so. I think people just had such high expectations and were let down so much. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think if I had been a really passionate fan of the original trilogy and then gone in and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna see the transition of Anakin to Vader, and then fucking Jar Jar Binks shows up, I think
you'd be a little disappointed.
I think I would be a little bit angry.
Yeah.
Especially like if I'd had to like wait years for this narrative to come to an end.
Yeah.
You know, if like over a period of 6 years this narrative's coming together, like I wouldn't have wanted to wait 6 years for like this conclusion. Like I think I would have been incredibly disappointed.
Yeah.
But like the fact that I could watch this in like one afternoon, I appreciated it more, I think.
Yeah, like I think they're not that bad as we
No.
reviewed. Like I think we quite like them.
Yeah.
I think, you know.
I mean, I do honestly think they're kind of pointless. You know, I really don't think you need to know like the origins of things. You don't need to know who made C-3PO. You don't need to know.
Yeah.
I mean, you still don't know. We still don't know anything about Yoda, really.
Not really.
You know,
Yeah.
like he's just there as a
I'm okay with
100 years old character. Yeah, you don't need answers to everything,
Mm-hmm.
and you know I respect them for restraining in some elements.
Absolutely. So yeah, just to wrap up this episode, Callum and I would like to thank you very much for listening. We really do appreciate it, and to everyone who likes, subscribes, shares, comments, all that good stuff. We honestly appreciate your support. And yeah, we'll be back soon with a few mini reviews.
Yeah.
Probably for Knives Out as well, and a few of the Terminator films that we haven't covered. So stay tuned for them. And yeah, thank you very much for listening, guys.
Thank you.
We appreciate it, and take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.